Hey everyone. I am I'm pissed off. Like I know it seems like I'm not, but oh my god, I am so angry. Like the outcome of a specific phone call today, I shouldn't be surprised at it because the thing is I knew that was coming, but it's just the manipulation. That's the thing that I found triggering. So I called mental health and finally got Laura Ling on the phone, and I tried to get her to basically stand by, like I said, if mental health decides to give me treatment based on the idea that gang stalking is fake or that Havana syndrome is fake or that, like, I'm making it up, then they're willing to stand by it in writing now. I knew they weren't going to do that, but what I wasn't prepared for is then deliberately trigger, like this person fucking triggering me by being manipulative and not giving me a straight answer. Finally got one though. So let's have a listen. Hang on, I just got to get this file up. Hi.
I'm just returning your call. I received a message. Obviously, I'm calling from the mental health services.
All right.
And, my concern is that you're getting the support that you want. And I get the impression that actually you don't want to be particularly involved with the mental health services.
Oh, already. Let me listen. I sent the email saying, if you're going to do this, then I need it in writing that you stand by. And she's trying to turn it into, no, I don't want any treatment. While I don't want to be dealing with mental health, the sworn written statement is insurance for me. It makes me feel better about whatever it is they decide to do next. It is not a bid to stop them from sectioning me. That's not what this is. All I want is a written statement saying that if I turn out to be right, they stand by it. And again, she gaslighting right out the gate. This is ridiculous. No. That's not what I said.
Okay,
I said if you have given me treatment on the basis that... Sorry. Let me just play it again. There's a gaslighting merry-go-round. I was pissed.
It is, yeah. Hiya.
Hi.
I'm just returning your call. Because I received a message. Obviously, I'm calling from the mental health services.
All right.
And my concern is that you're getting the support that you want. And I get the impression that actually you don't want to be particularly involved with the mental health services.
No. That's not what I said.
Okay.
I said if you have given me treatment on the basis that Havana syndrome doesn't exist and gang stalking doesn't exist and I am not the victim of a hate crime, if you stand by that and you make mental health decisions based on that, then all I want is some written assurance that you're going to stand by this decision and take full responsibility of what happens from there. I didn't say I didn't want your help. I just need some assurances as a vulnerable woman that if my word isn't taken seriously and I turn out to be right about it, then I want assurances that full responsibility will be taken on the part of the mental health, because the person who reported me, what they did is they took a past situation and applied it to something else because they wanted to take revenge on me for saying something about their family that they didn't like. Okay? So my thing is this: if reports are going to be made about me based on that, and if doctors are going to say that I hear voices when that's not the case, if I'm going to have a hospital staff member go behind my back to speak to my father in London who is sick, he is not in the same city as me, and yet he is being called to give permission for her to section me based on somebody who is mentally ill trying to take revenge. All I want is for mental health, whatever decisions that they make, to stand by those decisions in writing. That is all I want. I don't want you to not be involved or to be involved. All I want is for any decisions that you make to be stood by in writing. That's all. Now, I've said my piece. They can either say yes or they can say no. Or, third option, they could not do any of that.
Don't worry. I mean, the thing is, everything we do is documented. So that's kind of part of my role.
But that doesn't mean that you acknowledge that you take responsibility for everything that happens. Because you could easily hold on. You could put it in writing what you believe to be true at the time, but it doesn't say we are prepared to accept the consequences should the victim turn out to be right. That's not what it says. It just says you did this. So if you don't give it to me in writing, then it would give you plausible deniability should I turn out to be right about the situation, and then it leaves me vulnerable as a result of other people's mistakes. So that's all I need. All I need is assurance.
No, I absolutely hear that. At the moment, you've not had any treatment. So
No. All I wanted was all I wanted was some assurances. That's all I wanted. Sure. It's not a matter of whether I've been treated or not, or whether I've been sectioned or not, or anything like that. It's just a matter of getting assurance. That's all I want.
Yeah, no, I hear that. I mean, at the moment, I'd be keen to sort of understand where you want to go from here, because the doctors did not deem you currently in need of hospitalisation.
No, that's right, they didn't. But Gail Edwards called my father behind their back. So I'm just trying to ensure that responsibility will be taken if it turns out that I am right about the situation and that my claims are evidenced.
Yeah. Can I just say, it wasn't, it's done because the concerns raised about your well-being and not with a snide intent to do it behind your back. I know it must feel that way.
It's not about feeling. All I want is some assurance that if I turn out to be... Now they're talking about feelings. I can't with this shit. Oh, jeez. Then full responsibility will be taken by mental health and Melview. That's all I want.
Okay. Where do you want to go from here, really?
I've just said where I want to go from here. If I have that full statement in writing, then I can feel confident in talking to you about what my next steps would be in terms of my involvement with mental health. But I need that statement in full, and I need it written down. Once I get that, I can actually tell you exactly what I need from mental health from there. Because if I don't have that as a foundation, as a vulnerable person, then it's difficult for me to see a way forward with regards to how I can be treated or what I can do from there. So I need those assurances first, and then I'll be able to tell you how, as somebody with borderline personality disorder and premenstrual dysmorphic disorder, which has not been diagnosed, with autism that has not been diagnosed. There have been so many illnesses that have not been diagnosed, and yet paranoid schizophrenia is the first thing that people come up with. So I'm going to need those assurances in writing before I decide anything else. Still no straight answer, by the way.
Okay. I mean, currently, my understanding is that the diagnosis is associated with psychosis.
Right.
It's difficult without further investigation, but that's the current concerns raised. It's, can I just really stress to you that mental health services, the majority of the time, it needs to have your consent to work with you. It doesn't work otherwise. Do you know what I mean? I cannot make somebody engage in therapeutic.
But Gail Edwards tried to call my dad and tried to get his permission to section me. That's without my consent, isn't it? What's she talking about?
Activity if they don't want to. However, when it changes on the sort of smaller cases, is actually when it's concerned.
She's just chatting shit. Watch.
Risk of safety. So when it's concerns about your risk to yourself, and whether or not you're going to come to harm, that's when we change tack, and actually that's when doctors get involved in mental health.
But this is the thing, when I actually asked for sectioning the first time around, because I was going through a PMDD episode, and then on top of that I was going through a borderline episode. I hadn't left my house in a while, because I was going through a borderline episode due to the hate crime and harassment. So I was going through all of that. I begged to be sectioned, literally begged to be sectioned, because the police came over and made it worse. And then on top of that, these people still wouldn't stop taunting. These children still wouldn't shut their mouths. So basically I put myself in the position where I wanted to be sectioned. When the health officials came over to my house, on that Sunday that I tried to section myself, do you know what they told me? They told me that's not a good idea. And yet, when the same person who harassed me makes a report of me being violent, even though they know it wasn't the same person, that would have to be a kid. No, the mother of the child that was harassing me, which the motherfucking put the child up to in the first place, she called mental health, and she didn't do it because I was violent or anything like that. She didn't do it because she didn't want her ass kicked. She did it because I talked smack about her family and she wanted revenge. So she didn't even tell the truth to the police. She didn't even tell the police the truth. I banged on the door. I said, "Come down here and get your ass whooped." Now I'm paraphrasing what I said, but I banged on the door. I said, "Come downstairs and get your ass whooped." That woman didn't even tell the police what happened, but I did. Now what does that tell you? In fact, why the fuck are you going to call the police and not tell them that? The incident of me saying, you know what, let's go outside and fight. They knew what the circumstances were. The reason they did it was not because they were scared for their safety. They did it because they heard me online talking smack about them and their family, and they wanted revenge. That's why they called you. Because they were really scared about their safety. The mental health would have been the first people they called. But you weren't the first people they called. The police were the first people they called. And they basically lied. They didn't even tell the police that I said to them, "I'm willing to fight you." They didn't even tell the police that. So that alone should tell you that the reason why they're doing this is out of revenge and out of spite. So mental health took a report based on spite to come over and try to section me when it was very evident that I no longer needed their help. And then on top of that, the doctors lied, because I've got the conversation recorded. The doctors lied and said that I was hearing voices, which is why Gail Edwards and her team came over. And then on top of that, I tell Gail about some stuff to do with gang stalking. Some of the stuff is not my case, it's the case of a friend who's gone through the same thing. My thing is this: who hears about a person who talks about their friends' relatives being murdered and decides, you know what, maybe we should section her? Who makes that decision? Who makes a decision like that?
Well, the thing is, it should be a collective decision. It should be several people coming into... So hence why, when you have a Mental Health Act, there are 3 professionals. There's 2 doctors and a social worker.
She's just chatting shit. I know how it works. They came over. Like, I know that you send 3 doctors over here and you send 3 like, I know all this. They came to my fucking flat. She's just chatting shit. All of this just seems to be background noise to me. I know how the mental health thing works. What I'm trying to ascertain is how a mental health professional listens to somebody talk about other people being murdered, which is factual and can actually be proven. How do you assume as a mental health professional that somebody needs to be sectioned to the point where you're going to call their relatives? How does somebody come to that conclusion? This is exactly what I'm talking about when I say I need assurance from Mental Health and Millview that they take full responsibility. Because if I turn out to be right and this is not a psychotic delusion, You should be, if you really believe that everything that I'm talking about with Havana syndrome, with the hate crime, with the harassment, with everything else, if people truly believe that it's a delusion and that it is not real, they should be able to stand by that in writing.
Okay, so what would happen from here on in, because you weren't sectioned and effectively the mental health services can step away, what I would advise is you continue with the criminal services, with the police.
The police always bring me back around to you. You are above the law.
But then we are coming to a collective group of people, the police and the mental health services.
Well then, the police, both the police and mental health, need to take full responsibility for what happens if I turn out to be right about what I'm saying. And they need to claim that responsibility in writing.
Sure, I can hear your anxiety. From here
I'm not anxious, I'm angry, because the thing is, it just feels like I'm being led, I'm being led around the houses, and really, I'm asking for one thing. It's very simple, it's not... I'm expecting a delivery today, and I just heard somebody outside that might have been the postman. Now, my delivery needs to be signed, so what concerns me is that somebody might have already signed for it and tried to pilfer it, but... I'll call Royal Mail and I'll see what's going on, because I don't trust these fucking people. I'm sorry, they're fucking crazy. I don't trust them. If I'm wrong about what I'm saying, then I need it in writing. Simple. There is no question about whether or not you're doing this to help me, you're doing that to help me, you're doing this to help me. I need it in writing. It's as simple as that. I don't know why we're still talking. I need this in writing. Can you get it to me in writing? If you can't, we can end the conversation, and then I can decide what to do from there, and you can decide what to do from there. But I need it in writing.
Why don't you go away from this phone call and have a think, and I'll kind of keep your case on my books for, say, a month. Okay, come back to me. Call me if you want to, but otherwise I shall discharge you in 4 weeks if you feel you don't want engagement from the mental health services.
I didn't ask for that. That's not what I asked for. I didn't ask for engagement or disengagement. I asked for a written promise in writing that if I turn out to be right about what's going on, then you're willing to stand by that. That's all I was asking for. I didn't ask you to discharge me. I didn't ask you to do anything. That's all I'm asking for. It's very simple.
Currently, I stand by what's said, and like I say, this is all documented throughout, all the
it's documented, but it's not an acknowledgement of full responsibility. Anybody can document, I believe she's deluded. What I need in writing is, if you truly believe that, then you're willing to stand by it. That's what I need. I don't need somebody saying, I believe she's deluded, and they're not taking responsibility for that.
If it is presented to be that way, and currently it's not looking like that, okay, currently the police and the mental health services have...
It doesn't matter whether it's presented to be that way or not. That's not what I asked you. I said, in case anything happens and I turn out to be right, you're going to take responsibility. That's what I said. Did I say that you were going to treat... No, I didn't say any of that. I said, just in case you do, then I want it in writing. Just say no, fuck. Just say no and I've done. She does in the end.
I have concerns about your mental health, and I'm of the impression that the police would have explored the concerns you've raised.
They don't explore anything. They don't even explore it if there's evidence. There was a police officer that came over here, banging on the door like he was some kind of Steven Seagal movie, and then when he came back down and it turned out they had been committing hate crimes, he still tried to put on that accusatory tone with me. I showed him the evidence that I had been harassed. I showed him that evidence on YouTube, even though, truth be told, it was a little bit faint, so he might not have been able to hear it. Do you understand what I'm saying? But then he still treated me like I was lying. Hold on. He still treated me like I was lying and I was the one in the wrong. That's first off. Second off, right? When the mental health team came over, I told them all about the harassment. I told them why I thought it was going on, and whilst they were talking to me, the little girl upstairs was saying "we won" loud enough for them to hear. So if they can hear the harassment, why are they going behind my back to my father trying to section me? This is exactly why I need the assurance from Mental Health and Millview that if I turn out to be right and I'm evidenced to be right, that they will take full responsibility. I am not asking for anything else.
Fabian, currently, we're not talking just about this incident of your neighbours.
Okay, this is where we get into the bullshit now. Now she tries to attach it to London. Again, why do you think I moved here? To prove that gang stalking is in more than one place. You can't turn around and say, oh, the common denominator is me. That's bullshit. Anybody who looks at my records, looks at the way that I take care of my apartment, I keep to myself, I don't bother nobody. How is it that somebody who keeps to themselves is going to start an argument? That don't even make sense.
Living next to, we're also talking about your mental health history when you were referred to our services about a year ago, and when you were involved.
So basically she's trying to say you're not right because it happened in London as well. I literally talked about gang stalking being global. So why wouldn't it be in two fucking cities across the country? So she's trying to clutch at straws in order to avoid giving me a straight answer. I'm getting pissed off. Yeah.
As well, so we're looking at different locations here with different neighbours.
Of course, but I already told you that gang stalking is responsible for that. What else would it be? If it was a situation where it was simply a neighbour harassing me and stuff like that, there is no way it would have taken this long for it to be sorted out, as bad as the harassment is. I know that there are mentally ill people who have harassed other people and it's gotten so bad that that person was prosecuted. There are people who have harassed me for a year straight, every day for a year straight, and they haven't even been arrested, let alone prosecuted. So it goes to show that they're picking and choosing who they want to fucking protect. I'm not buying the bullshit. I'm not buying it. Been around mental health, I know how mental health works. I've been around the police, I know how the police work. If there's a genuine crime going on, they're not going to let it go on for a certain amount of months, especially when there's evidence. And they're certainly not going to turn around and treat me like I'm the criminal in the situation.
Well, can I just say, again, when you're talking about evidence and you're talking about criminality, you need to be pursuing this with the police.
I've pursued it with the police. That's what, and the thing is, they call you.
We're not that service.
So even... It doesn't matter. You're above the law. The police, if I'm talking to the police and I've got evidence behind me, they're still going to call you. So the responsibility lies with you. It does with police as well, but chiefly you, because you're above the law. If you decide to take me in for my own safety, there's nothing that my mum's going to be able to say. There's nothing that my dad's going to be able to say. There's nothing that my brother's going to be able to say. If you decide that you're going to take me in based on everything that I've said about Havana syndrome, then there is nothing anyone can do about it. That puts you above the law. And if you're above the law like that, you should be able to back up your fucking statements. Damn. When it would be easier to lie and say, yeah, we'll do that for you. You're not going to do it.
No, I'm being honest. I'm not going to write you a letter of that documentation.
Okay, all right, thank you. That's all I need to know, Laura. That's all I need to know. We'll talk in a month.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Yes, bye.
Bye. Finally, after 16 minutes, I finally got a straight answer. Finally got a straight answer. For God's sake, man. How long did that fucking take? So it's 16 minutes. If you fucking gaslighting me and you trying to find a hole in my argument when all you had to say was no in the first place. But then again, it does prove that the mental health is, the care of mental health is not worth the paper it's printed on. And the diagnoses are not worth the paper they're printed on, because if you're going to make these diagnoses, then why are you not going to stand by them in a court of law? You're going to stand by them long enough in order to section somebody who doesn't need it, but you're not going to take responsibility for crimes committed against the person that you're sectioning, or that you're citing as deluded or whatever. Like, stand by it then. You're above the law, stand by it. I'm just turning over my chicken. This is gonna, I really want to show you what this chicken looks like, but I put too much browning in it. You can figure out where I'm going with that. If I put too much browning in it, then what does it look like? I'm just saying, man. This is gonna taste wicked, but still too much browning. I didn't think it would be that much. It seems to me like I only need to put a small capful in there. But yeah, if you're a mental health professional and you genuinely think somebody's mentally ill, it shouldn't take that much for you to stand by it. I shouldn't have to have a 16-minute conversation with you, before you get to a no or a yes. That's all I needed. All I needed was a straight answer, and you didn't want to give me that because you know I was right. You know I'm right. Your hands are tied. So you're just going around the houses before you give me a no. That's okay. But you should be able to stand by it if you're going to do that. That's the thing. This is the thing. These are the questions that we don't ask because, vulnerable people are scared and intimidated, And when you're already lacking in emotional, like an emotional wave break, as it were, when you're already lacking it, hey, Tony, when you're already lacking in that, then it's very easy to think to yourself, you know what, I can't deal with this right now. I can't deal with all these questions, all this paperwork. It's like when you're vulnerable, there's a deliberate attempt to aim, like even just without the TI stuff. When you're vulnerable, there's a deliberate attempt to aim as much hostility at you as possible in order to wear you down. And the purpose of that is to save money, save time, and make these people's jobs easier. I'm sorry, but it's the reality of the situation. Vulnerable people are worn down on, and the more that austerity kicks the civil servants' arse is the worse it's going to get. Because the thing is, there's not the funding. The funding isn't there either. So people are not motivated towards doing their jobs or doing right by vulnerable people. They're motivating towards saving money and saving time. That's what they've been doing in my targeting lately. Yeah. They're aimed towards basically saving money and saving time. That's what they're more interested in than anything. So, of course, even when you're not a TI, that is what you're going to be subjected to as a vulnerable person. With a TI, it's 10 times worse. Okay? It's 10 times worse with a TI. So, it's 10 times worse with a TI when you're vulnerable. Yeah. My psychiatrist was purposely trying to antagonize me during our telephone appointment yesterday. You should have been here for the live, mate. You should have been here for the live. Now, this psychiatrist, hang on. I told him he had blood in his hands and he laughed and he said that I was being harsh. That means he thinks you're telling the truth then. If he laughed and said that's harsh, then if I was genuinely trying to help someone and they told me I had blood on my hands, I'd be disturbed. I wouldn't laugh. Tony. So he kept gaslighting. Basically, that's exactly what happened. You should have been here for the live because I was showing you a phone conversation. You can catch it on YouTube anyway. I was showing a phone conversation where this person got on the phone. I don't know if they're a clinician or a doctor, but I was basically sitting with this person, talking to her on the phone while she was gaslighting me and basically trying to redirect the conversation. She didn't actually discredit gang stalking, but I did say that I wanted a written statement, like to catch you up, Tony. I told her I wanted a full sworn statement in writing that if I turn out to be right about the situation, any treatments given to me based on denial of what I've said will have full responsibility taken for it. And she led me around the houses for about 16 minutes before she finally said no. I said, you said no? Okay, I'll hang up the phone. So it was about, yeah, this is what I'm talking about, Tony. They tried to redirect it. So it was about a 16-minute conversation of redirects and manipulation before they finally get to the damn point. I knew that they were going to do that, but the thing is, the gaslighting triggers you. Like, as somebody who's dealt with gaslighting and knows what it sounds like, that will trigger you as somebody who's already vulnerable and who is like being tortured every day. That gaslighting will just anger you so much. But she said no. So that proves to me that they don't really believe in what they're doing. It demonstrates, sorry, there's people outside, I'm being distracted. It just demonstrates to me that you don't really believe in what you're doing. And if you don't believe in what you're doing, then why are you doing it? I kept stating what was in my brain until they fucking sectioned me for it. Until I ended up being homeless for it. Until I ended up in jail for it. I fought for what was inside my fucking head until I got institutionalized for that shit. Scared, frightened, humiliated. So, and you can't, I literally fucking offered myself up on a silver platter repeatedly in order to fight for the shit that I believe in. And you, being above the law, you can't even manage a written statement saying that, you know what, we take full responsibility in case we turn out to be wrong. Fuck out of here. Fuck out of here. Fuck out of here. You always want to get as much privilege as possible. So many people are full of shit, man. They don't want to die for what they believe in. They don't want to die for what they stand by, but they're willing to take a life. I ain't with that shit. I said it time and time again, I ain't with that shit. You're willing, the amount of people that have been overdosed on fucking meds for nothing. There's one TI in hospital right now simply because they've been talking to high profile whistleblowers that has been given medication that elevates their blood sugar when they're fucking diabetic. You're willing to kill for the slightest shit, but you ain't willing to give your life for what you really believe because you believe nothing. You believe nothing. Of course you ain't going to give me no goddamn written statement. Strong. Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Tony. You ain't prepared to stand by. I went through this shit entirely by myself. No family supporting me. No friends supporting me. I literally risked isolation, risked everything to stand by what I believe in. I'm risking everything now. Can't give no fucking written statement. You're full of shit. But at least you told me no. At least I got an answer out of you. That's more than I get usually. I don't usually get an answer. I asked for mental health. Do you have evidence of that I have paranoid schizophrenia? Schizophrenia, the CR1 part of the brain is malfunctioning. That's what causes paranoid schizophrenia. Do you have proof of that? Is there a scan that can prove that I have paranoid schizophrenia? Because if the CR1 part of the brain is malfunctioning, then you've definitely got a case. But until then, do you have evidence? Of course they don't. Ask them that in London. Do you have evidence? Can I get a scan that proves that the CR1 part of my brain is damaged? Because if you can prove that, then you can prove paranoid schizophrenia. Of course they're not going to fucking do it. They pulled that shit on me and said I'm schizophrenic. Because they hire schizophrenic to do their fucking shit. They hire schizophrenics to do their shit on the lower levels. So if you ever pulled them up and said, oh, what the fuck are you doing? What exactly are you going to learn from them? It's just fucking bullshit. Yeah, exactly, yeah. Bullshit, Tony. It's bullshit. Yeah. Yeah, I'm willing to stand by what I believe in. It like these people. Do you know what? Do you know what happened yesterday? After I talked about, because it wasn't even a slam post. It wasn't even one of those lies where I was cussing people out. I was just basically going off my own childhood and kind of merging that with what I observe going on with me now. Do you want to hear what that woman basically said? Like, no. Do you want to hear what this woman was saying after I got off the live? Oh, thank you, Tony. I appreciate you too. You want to hear what this woman said? This woman basically just used the N-word again, and she said, "Damn nigga, stupid bitch." I'm sorry. I was literally so tickled by that. I literally called a TI friend of mine, like, just to gloat. The shit was so funny. They were going nuts because they knew I was telling the truth. They knew I was telling the truth, and there was nothing to argue. There was nothing to argue. I said, basically, you have an entitled sense of self. You believe that you should be whatever you believe that you should be able to do whatever you want without consequence. You've raised your children the same way, and the only time when you seriously reprimand them is when they shame you and not when they do something wrong. Oh yeah, but you're fucking black. Okay. And? Stupid. And you know what the funny thing is? They literally can't say anything else. They can't even say it to my face. When I brought it to their face, they denied it. It would be different if they came to my face and yelled N-word at me. And then they said, okay, fine, you want to go outside and fight. Like, no, I threatened to kick her ass 3 times. And then when the police come over, she didn't even tell them that. 3 times. 3 times. Either she They just told the police that I was banging at the door and shouting shit. They didn't say anything about me being threatening. I got that police fucking conversation recorded because the police told me what those people said. They didn't say anything about me beating their ass. And the thing is that when I came in front of their face, they pulled all the kind of emotional bullshit on me. So it was a mother, her son was there, and then there was a blonde person. I think she might have been, she said it was a niece. I think it might have been her niece or something like that, or her cousin or something like that. And they pulled all kinds of emotional bullshit on me. They said, oh, there's a child upstairs that you're scaring her. What, the same child that's been taught in We1 for 2 fucking months? That kid. And that same kid that said, I like him being upset. That kid. That's the one that I'm scaring. That's the one you're talking about. And then on top of that, when I brought up the race shit, they were like, oh, apparently I'm being racist. Apparently it's a Liverpudlian being racist. So you can't even say that to my face. Yeah, you're full of all kinds of damn niggas through the ceiling. Shut up. Shut the fuck up. Shut up. So just fucking stupid. Hang on a sec. It's called reactive abuse. I think I know a little bit about it, Tony. Hang on. It's when they poke and prod and taunt and harass until the point where we finally react after trying to ignore them, and then we're made out to be the bad guy for responding appropriately to non-stop harassment. Yeah, I get that. Nah, a lot of TIs go through that. Like, a lot of TIs go through that shit. I'm familiar with it, but I didn't know the terminology. I'm familiar with a lot of things that gang stalkers do, but I don't really learn the terminology of it until I talk to other TIs online or in real life, because there are TIs in real life who know the terminology. But yeah, no, I'm used to that shit. Reactive abuse all day long. I'm used to that shit. That's the favourite thing that people like to use on me, because they know I have BPD, they know I have PMDD, they know I have like a slight bit of autism, and they know I don't take any shit. So it's easy for me. I've heard that name before. Was that you who talked about her? Tina Plakinger? Yeah. That was you, wasn't it? That treading on serpents. Yeah. I'm going to check that out, you know. Because I think it was you who brought up her name before. It was either you or Mind Garden that brought her up before. So, yeah. Nah, man. Nah, that's just some bullshit. Stupid. I'm just waiting on this delivery now. Like, yeah, let's pray that it comes and that it hasn't been stolen. You know. But, anyway... Yeah, because they've been looking for shit to steal. Again, like the perps and addicts, so they're looking for shit to steal. And I've heard one of them say, look, there's nothing in her flat worth stealing. But then I do have the windows open here, so you can see everything in here. But anyway, I love you guys. Take care. Bye-bye. Hey, Tony, thanks for stopping in. Thank you in particular. And you're a great person to have on here, man. I really, really rate your support. Thank you for being here with me. Shout out to you. Yeah, much love. All right, I love all of you TIs. I love you guys. Take care. Bye.